Hello, hello, hello. It's nice to be on here. I wanted to take a different tonality, a different pacing, a different relativity into this group. This video is an offshoot from a live I did on my personal page. I shared it with the group in here. Um, One of my clients had a question on it that wanted some deeper dissection on how to show up, how to transform, how to transmute some of the shames that keep us hiding, that keep us from our visibility, that keep us from really showing up to our friends, family, clients, audience, fans in a much more powerful way. I wanted to do this video outside, but my laptop was overheating and it was threatening me with shutting down, so I didn't want to take a chance of going live and having my computer break. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Amber. Hello, Rachel. Nice to have you on. So I don't know exactly where this is going to go, of course, but that's going to be the magic of it. My client had the question of she understands what she needs to do. She understands that there's an aspect of her hiding from her hiding behind her words. To give you a little bit more background on it, we had found, I had energetically kind of sensitive to her posts being very wordy, being very expressionate of the process, being very dense. And I kind of felt energetically sensitive to the fact that she was kind of hiding behind the words, and she agreed. And that has been something that she's been working on. But she doesn't know how. She doesn't know how to show up in front of her words or let the words communicate energetically from a different type of her power, from a more powerful place. And she's asking, how do you reprogram that shame? How do you deprogram that kind of fearful hiding and step into more of yourself, step more into that power, so that when you do speak, when you do express yourself, that there is a transparency and that you are visible to the reader, to the audience, to whatever, to your potential clients on a much more visible level, on a much more brighter level. It's in essence you turning up the volume, turning up the brilliance, turning up the brightness on your soul, so that you become visible to the ones that are here to hear your message, to see your content, to work with you one-on-one. All of that stuff comes together when you eliminate the shame, which is distorting your signal to these other people. The first thing that comes up to me is understanding that it is fear that you are hiding from, or fear that is making you hide. When we try to over intellectualize where we want to get to, it makes it very hard to actually see where you are. And when you try to get too ahead of yourself in the process, you're not fully accepting the position you are right now. And when you slow down and you can actually face the fear that you are running away from, because it's some fear, even if you want to call it hiding, you have to step one layer behind it and realize that you are hiding from something. You are hiding from some level of your intimacy that is not safe, that you feel is not safe to show the world. It's not safe to to be an aspect of yourself because of some past level conditioning, programming, trigger, happening experience that taught you this negative belief of you are not good enough, you cannot do this, you cannot show up as your full power, or else it means death. And that is like the furthest extreme of what this hiding actually means. Is the connection here is, if I show up like this, like naked, vulnerable, authentic, real, loving, powerful, genius, brilliant, rule breaker, rebel, then it means death to something. It means my death. That is why you feel like hiding. That is why you do hide. That is why there is an automatic, unconscious hiding from walking up to your power and being like, give it to me. I'm ready. Give it to me. That brings up kind of where, once you have that awareness that there is fear and you could actually have the courage to look at it, then it's about harnessing and realizing that the desire for expressing yourself, the desire for sharing, the desire for the fun of standing out there without any protection, without any backstop, without any safety nets, per se, on an energetic level. There's a desire for the excitement of that. There's a desire to overcome the hiding by desiring something else. Because the reason that you are hiding, the reason that you are defending yourself from really stepping in front of your words and saying, this is me, this is what I believe, this is what I'm sharing, this is from my heart, this is from my soul, there is a new idea, a new perspective of craving it. If you don't have like the desire, if you don't have the initial inspiration of wanting to share yourself, because that's going to overpower the fear. If you really tap into the pureness of what I'm pointing at, that's going to like speed you right past this like hiding barrier. Because if you are hiding, it means that there is something in the way. And it's not, it is you and it's not you in a way, but that fear that's in your way of like peeking over the corner is like, you are there to say whether you want that thing or not. It's not, doesn't have any power over you in truth, but the more that you can see how flimsy it actually is. So the inner child, the fearful child, thinks that this thing that it's hiding behind, you know, the blanket, the wall, the whatever it's hiding behind from showing up, it thinks that that thing is real. It thinks that the thing that is defending you, this shield, this mask, this wall, this blanket, whatever it is that you metaphor in front of your in front of what you're afraid of. It thinks that that is real and that's actually defending you. When you break down that illusion, all of a sudden you're not hiding behind it. You cannot, like, you, hopefully you can feel the words that I'm saying because it's all metaphor, but you, by the sake of you finding that desire to have the most powerful expression, your desire to let others see it, you find that rationalization of why others need to see you at your full power. You can balance out that automatic self-conscious fear by pure heart-centered reasoning or desire, right? Like, the more you want something, the more you'll prove it to yourself. The more you believe it's possible, the more you'll prove it to yourself. Does that make sense? Like, let me know if you have any questions that pop up from this. When you don't let the reasons that you've let become the reasons for you feeling like you don't have permission, or that you don't have, you're not allowed to say that thing. You're not allowed to speak it in a certain way. And I think from here I can pinpoint, especially for the client that asked about this, there is the way that you speak the words inside, the way that you believe the words inside, that will actually change the energy from where they're spoken from and how they're spoken to your audience. And it comes down to maybe even just exercising, like reading the words that you want to say out loud, and how do they sound to yourself? How are you speaking them? You know, when you read them out loud, when you read what you want to say out loud, do you feel the power? Do you feel moved? Do you feel the soul in your own words? Because maybe that is what's actually blocking you is, oh shit, I didn't even see the comments here. Let me just finish this sentence and then I'll get to the comments. Maybe when you actually hear, like, this is an exercise. Look at one of your posts or look at what you're going to write. Record yourself speaking it. Do you speak it from a monotone, no emotion, fearful place? Like, do you hear yourself kind of hiding your emotion from it? You kind of put the emotion there, but when you read it back to yourself, you feel like it's not coming through. But the more that you, like, and then listen to it and see, like, oh, I'm not actually emphasizing, I'm not actually feeling the point of what I was trying to say. And then try again, try reading it from a different place, and you'll start to see, oh, when I used this sentence, when I used this word, what I really wanted to say was this. What I really wanted to say was this, or this could be more concise. And this is classic editing, but that is the way that you can actually hear your soul at a deeper level for what it's expressing without the filters, without the mind. So let me look. I missed some comments here. Hi, Sean. So the power originates from a visceral, tangible connection to your desire. The power to break through the veil. Yeah, hold on. Was there a glitch? Hopefully this is working. Hopefully this is working right now. It looks like it is. Yeah, Sean. the way that I would kind of describe or answer that question, the power originates from the tangible connection to your desire. Yes, I would say yes. The way I was using desire was for you to actually want to break through the veil. The desire to break through the veil will give you the passage, the access to do it. I think the power that you're talking about, the power of your words, the power of your expression, that comes from inspiration. That comes from a response to something. It comes from this natural response to something that matters to you, something that you care about, something that draws the emotion out of you in such a way that it flows right out, and there's really no thinking, there's really no mind that you have to attach to it. So I think desire and inspiration are very synonymous in that pure layer of your imagination, of your creativity. But the power originates from that source, from that source, and desire, like all sorts of words for it. But I desire does feel a little. I would say that the power originates from your passion, and these are really semantic things. Everyone has their own ways of plumbing with the words how to explain this, but I look at it like the creative and sexual energy culmination before the split is passion. And once you're tapped into that level of passion and there's nothing in the way, no layers of mind in the way of that passion, all of a sudden it can flow through you, and you understand the power of it. You understand that each word carries a frequency, each word carries a charge. And by your intention, I would think that let's add that to there. The intention, the desire, the passion, and the inspiration. I mean, this would definitely take some like really deep diving of really mapping that out, but those are all the variables here. Elaine, I've been allowing more of myself to show up, and I feel so much less trapped and frustrated where I am. Awesome. Whoa, there was a crazy glitch in your video right before your live. Sorry about that. Let me know what you missed, Sean, and I can hopefully, I don't know where it glitched out. Hey, Carrie. So does that make sense? Does that make sense? Like, once you have the awareness that what is keeping you invisible is the fear that you're making real. Or on the flip side, it's the desire to be invisible. It's two different angles on your creator abilities. So on one end, the fear-based end is that you're afraid of what visibility means. You're afraid of the success. You're afraid of the attention. You're afraid of what will happen when you're fully visible. And past lives could be a factor. You could have been burned. Like whatever that fear is trying to portray, you still believe that that's real. You still believe that if you're visible, then ... That is the fear-based story. On the other hand, if you've kind of fallen in love with invisibility, and I can kind of, the reason this comes up for me is because this is how I kind of operated in my early days, younger days, is you kind of fall in love with the invisibility. And it's more safety, love, protection, comfort that people don't see you, and they're both kind of the same, both sides of the coin kind of thing. But if you're not aware of that, if you're not aware that there could be some layers of you that actually like being invisible, then you're not going to see the complete picture. Um, and then it just becomes the fact of like finding the love for visibility. Like, why do you want to become visible? If it's just to make money, that might not be enough reason for you to reprogram the negative beliefs about visibility. But if visibility with visibility comes like more fun, more pleasure, more excitement, more spontaneity, more opportunities, if that stuff starts to really get your blood boiling, your passion going, then it's like you're asking your soul, you're asking um, your reality to start showing you where those programs are, those unconscious programs are that are running in the background that are like the hiding programs, the things that are not the shames, the shame or the guilt that is like it's bad to be visible, it's wrong to be visible. Like when I say that, does anything rise up in you? Is like, do you agree? Does like a part of you be like resonate with that? Like it's wrong to be visible, it's bad to be visible. Then it's like guilt and shame. Those programs of guilt and shame that are like tarnishing the positive aspects of being visible, the fun aspects, the fulfilling aspects, the satisfying aspects of being visible. Any questions? Any questions? It's funny. I set the intent that I want to go a little slower, but the flow always like gets me to go faster. So let me know if you have any questions on this. And I'm going to tune in and really, again, try to go slow and really go deep into how to uncover this shame and how to uncover this guilt, because I feel like this is a very, very powerful, transformative talk. And I want to provide as much value as I can. Because this has definitely been a major theme in my life is going from invisibility to visibility. And I'm just trying to like assemble the path that I took, the ways that I did it, the things that really helped me show up as a more powerful version of myself. Hi, Valerie. What would you suggest to aid in releasing the fear-based visibility? I was bullied from a very young age, and I think it put me on the track to being on the down low, working through it now. Lane, I would say there is this aspect of forgiveness that you're still holding back from yourself. And I say from yourself because the bullies that are in your memory right now, you're not being bullied right now, but the bullies that are in your memory is an aspect of you. It is a reflection of that past version of yourself that was afraid, that called in those bullies to give you that experience in order to wake up, in order to realize more of your power, in order to learn something from how much you got hurt, from the pain, to learn from the pain. Once you can forgive that, you make space for understanding the pain from a different level, understanding the pain from a higher perspective, where even talking about it, even sharing about it, even in terms of releasing it, you make the space to show up as the being that has forgiven the negative stigma of being bullied, and you become like, this is how you can look at the action steps, the releasing of it, the transmutation of it, is when you show up as someone that's forgiven that bully, and you show up as in front of the experience instead of behind it. You show an example to others that are going through that bully situation themselves, a new way of being empowered by that situation instead of disempowered. Does that make sense, Lane? So by you expressing it and showing people that you can forgive something that bad that happened to you, you provide the code. You provide the codes to other people to be in that situation and not let it disempower them. And that's the service that you do by releasing it yourself. When the releasing is purely selfish, you don't, again, get the full dimension of why you need to release it. The why is only half full. The why. Why do I need to release this fear-based visibility? When you're not clear on that, when you don't have a vision for what you're actually doing by releasing it, what you're actually doing by becoming visible for others, the motivation, the desire, the inspiration, the drive, the pureness of like taking that step, taking those baby steps, taking those action steps of releasing it won't be as fire for you. There won't be a fire for it. Good. Getting some hearts. Awesome. Any other questions? Shame is probably even more of a factor to people being in disempowered states than fear is. And it could be argued that shame is just a web of the core of fear, or the seed of fear. It depends on how you want to look at it. But I have been having these visions of some sort of like upgrading shame, transforming shame program, group program. I don't know. There's something there, and it's something that I really want to help people through. So I'm just throwing that out there. Sean, how do you identify, connect to your passion? Earlier you were saying inspiration you see in your field draws out your response. Is there a way to gain simple clarity? Is there a way to gain simple clarity within to expressing what it is? How do you identify? Hmm. I hate to say this, but that's still, you're still in your mind at that point. This question, the way that this question is posed of expressing what it is, how do you identify, connect with your passion? Earlier we were saying your field draws out your response. Is there a way to simple clarity within expressing what it is? the way, how do I explain this? If I can just go one layer behind that, Sean, the way that you're asking that question, the energy behind that question is actually going to keep you from the answer, if that makes sense. So no matter what I say, the way that you ask that question is the assumption that your mind is doing the identifying, connecting, and expressing. And so you're still creating a layer. You still think that there needs to be a layer between your creative source and your three-dimensional expression of it. And it means that you're still not going deep enough beneath the mind to be able to connect with it. Sean, it comes from, it's paradoxical, but it comes from silence and stillness and space. The way that you think it is it comes from thoughts, because you're so immersed as thought. That's the film strip for you, is thought. So you think that the answers are going to come from the thoughts. But what I'm trying to paint for you is immersing your presence to perceive on a slower relativity, because the relativity that you're at is very fast. It's thought, and that's the way that you've operated. And so that's the only way that you think creativity happens, is within that field of thoughts. But when you can slow down enough, so you're creating the intention of holding back as much as possible. Like, you're not going to have thoughts. You're not going to identify with thoughts. You're just going to be still, slow, to where it goes, instead of thought, it goes thought, or thought space, thought space, thought space, thought space, thought space. And then you're expanding the little space between thoughts more and more. And you're going into that instead of into the thought. All of a sudden, now you see where the thought is birthed from, where the inspiration is birthed from before the mind, before it enters the mind, or before it feeds down into the mind, depending on the direction. Again, infinite to finite. You go deeper into the stillness, deeper into the silence. You're going deeper into the infinite, the darkness, to where you can actually see in slow motion the thought emerge. But your identification is the stillness. I hope that helps. It's very nuanced. Elisa Lane, I love it, and it's forgiving ourselves while forgiving others. You hiding, it's not serving your highest purpose. I always think with me showing up, I could change one person's life, and that's worthy. Oh, I love that. Yes. I love that. Yeah. Boom. Valerie, some of the lessons I'm learning about moving past my fears are helping me become a more confident leader. It's like I have to take baby steps sometimes. I build up my chops. Yeah, Valerie, and you're doing amazing. Your lives are good. You're showing up, and like you're seeing that that's helping you reach the people that need to see you. Like, people need to see all of us. Thank you, Elise. You're amazing too. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for joining. Sean, yes, inspired job of explaining. I feel it. Stillness space is the source. Your heart pierces through. The questions stem from a real-time experience when interacting in conversation. Yeah, when you're in conversation, when you're in the flow, it's definitely hard to slow down. But that's why you meditate. That's why you have a practice, because you're shifting from identifying as the person in the conversation to the presence of the conversation, the presence of the presence. By the way, great question. That answer was amazing. I love channeling like that. Any other questions? I love questions more than trying to come up with what to say, because they're inspired. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll just kind of be a little bit more still here. By the way, a little plug for the day. Shameless plug. I'm not getting paid. Have you guys tried these Spindrifts before? They're really good. They're real fruit and no sugar, and it gives me like that soda refreshment feeling. And they're the most delicious flavored water without sugar that I've had so far. Better than the other ones. Again, I'm not getting paid, but they're really good. Anyways, if there's not any more questions, I'll be available on the group if you want to do some last minute ones. I will sign off here. Hope you guys have wonderful days, and it's been good. Yeah. Until next time, bye.